Baldy, good morning. How are you?
Morning, guys. I'm fantastic. You kidding me?
Very good.
What are game days like for you? Are you a guy that likes to eat during games and just chow down?
I announce games for national radio, so I do games every Sunday. So I was on the field in San Francisco last week talking to Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes and Fred Warner, whatever. So I'll be on the field Sunday for Bears and Commanders. So I'll see my buddy Cliff Kingsbury and some of the guys. So yeah, I'm not an eater or anything, man. I'm just out there.
Just grinding.
Are you? Now you're an old football guy, so you know how to handle yourself, obviously. But I mean, where do you stand to make sure you don't get run over? I mean, I feel like that's dangerous during the games.
No. I'm upstairs in a booth announcing the game, but I go down the field before the game for a couple hours to talk to all the guys. So I'm out of harm's way. Sometimes a football will. Sometimes an errant football will come running by me, but that's about it.
So, Baldy, I watched your video that you did about the Commanders' defense. I'd like you to tell the audience, you're really getting impressed by what they're doing defensively.
They were very – so, look, I know Carolina's got a bad record, and they're not a good team, but the one thing they had been doing, they'd been running the ball very well. So Chuba Hubbard, going into last Sunday's game, was the third leading rusher behind Derrick Henry and Jordan Mason, averaging 5.6 yards a carry. Well, he averaged 3 yards a carry in that game. Their run defense, I watched it. He had 17 carries in the game, and 7 of his 17 carries went for a yard or less. Like, they played very disciplined run defense. And listen, guys, I watch every one of these games Monday and Tuesday every week. There's a lot of teams that are playing good run defense right now. They're undisciplined. They're not in the gaps. They don't tackle well. But I thought Washington did an excellent job last week. So I was impressed. But because it was everybody, it wasn't just Bobby Wagner, Frankie Lugo, and Deron Payne. It was the whole group. They all played very well last week.
Yeah, and Baldy, it was a little bit surprising, too, because Jonathan Allen goes out with the pec injury, so you think that maybe they might take a step back, but they were impressive, as you mentioned.
Well, I'm a big fan of Johnny Newton. He came out of Illinois. He was a big draft pick this year. And, he had the Jones fracture in his foot. It took a while to heal it. But, I thought he was the number one defensive tackle in the draft. And so I think you're going to see a guy the second half of the season that's really going to come on.
Hey, Baldy, have you ever done grades for I know you evaluate film all the time for PFF, because we're trying to absorb some of these numbers. And
I don't know what they mean. Look, I'm not here. I understand. Look, I already know where the question goes. Because I see the same grades. They pop up on my social media, whatever.
Yeah.
I honestly try not to pay attention.
Yeah.
For two reasons. One, I don't want that grade to influence what I'm looking at.
Sure.
I just want to see good plays, bad plays.
You want to make your own opinion, too. Yeah.
Yeah, I want my own opinion. And then, honestly, I don't know how they do it. I mean, I don't know what it's based on. I have linemen, especially offensive linemen, that come up to me all the time, and they're like, what does this even mean? Like, I thought I had a great game. I said, I did too.
Yeah.
But, look, PFF, it's a good service. I'm not going to knock. Every team subscribes to it. Like, I've sat down with a general manager of one team, maybe last year or the year before, during the season, and he threw up one of these defensive tackles that was leading the league in pressures. And he was like, this is the craziest thing, Baldy. Like, you tell me, is that a pressure? We went through every play in the game. And so, it's a good service.
Yeah, well, I think Eric's point is that from last week, Jamon Davis, who the Commanders cut
through the first 7 games or whatever.
Yeah, for the entire season, Jamon Davis, who the Commanders cut, was ranked higher than Luvu.
Right.
Explain that.
Who's like the second highest regular player.
Right.
Huh? You can't. Yeah.
No, I can't. Like last week, Jamie came in, and he was kind of used as a pass rusher more than an inside linebacker. Like, I love Frank Luvu. Everywhere that guy goes, that guy, New York Jets, Carolina, that guy's a good football player. And he brings, I don't know if you guys know him or not, or just been around him. Like, he's a high-energy guy.
Yeah.
And he plays the game the right way. And I said this maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I thought that him and Bobby Wagner were really starting to play well together. And that's important. Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner, up until Dre Greenlaw's injury last year in the Super Bowl, they had played 6 years together, like literally almost every snap. And when you start playing that many games together, you really start playing really well. If you're good players, you start really playing well as a unit. And I feel like that's starting to develop between Louvu and Wags right now.
Talking to Audacy NFL insider Brian Baldinger. Insider Calls brought to you by Hellman's Real Mayonnaise. You can purchase Hellman's at your local Walmart, Kroger, or grocery store to add extra deliciousness and creamy flavor to your game day dishes this football season. Of course, here in D.C., everybody's wondering whether Jaden Daniels will play on Sunday against the Bears and Caleb Williams. He's got the rib injury. Did you have any rib injuries? What is that like to go through during your career?
It's the worst. Literally, first of all, there's nothing you can do to accelerate the healing. You just have to deal with the pain. And the only way you know is like, if somebody's making you laugh, laughing is the worst. Mm-hmm. Going to the bathroom, trying to sleep, trying to get comfortable. You can't do anything. Every single thing bothers that area of your body. I saw Jaden, I believe he got hurt in the first play last week. Mm-hmm. And he got it out for the next 8 or 9 plays. But, I mean, you can see he was grabbing his rib. Like after even just handing the ball off, he was grabbing his rib. I don't know if it's a rib. I don't know if he got it bruised or if it's rib cartilage tear. I don't know. But that's painful. You could probably do things to cover up the pain. You can numb it up. I don't know if that's a good idea for Jaden. I'm sure that he would want to do it if it could help him get on the field. But you definitely don't want to get it any worse and take another shot because you don't feel the pain.
Mm-hmm. So who do you like in the game if Mariota has to go again?
Well, I thought, honestly, I've known Marcus since he came out of college, and I thought he played one of his best games ever last week when he came in. Like, the touchdown throws, the throws to Terry McLaurin, like, they were spot on. Like, and then, when he had to scramble and he had to run, he did. I mean, it's not Jaden Daniels, like, quick or fast, and he doesn't have the same arm that Jaden has, but he was very good. If he plays like he did last week, I think this is going to be probably like some kind of a field goal game. The one thing with Caleb is, they played the last game in London, then they flew back, then they had the week off, the bye week. And bye weeks sound like it should be a great thing. Like you just come back and you're strong as ever. I see a lot of teams come back after a week off and they lose their rhythm. They played really good the last 3 weeks, their 3-game win streak. I just don't know yet if they're just going to hit the ground running in Washington or if it's going to take a little while to kind of find that rhythm again.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. All right. This game is interesting because both teams are desperate, all right? And it's Sunday night. Dallas, San Francisco. You were just in San Francisco. They're in trouble because of the injuries. Debo's not going to go. He's got the pneumonia issue, recovering from that. Juwan Jennings has a hip injury. I'm not sure if he's going to go. They think he might go, but obviously Ayuk's out for the year. McCaffrey's not going to be there. So talk to me about the state that they're in until they get McCaffrey back and Debo fully healthy against a Dallas team that, after what happened against Detroit, they're desperate. Now, their defense isn't great, and they got no running game. But who do you like in this game, considering all the injuries?
It's a good question. Dallas has got a week rest. I don't know if Micah Parsons is going or not going. He's a difference maker. So, really, San Francisco doesn't have any excuses. I mean, they drafted Ricky Pearsall. I know he was a victim of a crazy incident downtown San Francisco. He played last week. He's healthy. They've got guys they drafted. Ronnie Bell they drafted. Jacob Cowling they drafted. You just got to use the next man up mentality. There's no excuses. They're not playing good, but they're not playing well on defense last week. They did take the ball away twice, but I didn't think they played great at the end of the game. They ran the ball. I thought Kansas City ran the ball right down their throats in the fourth quarter. They couldn't really stop it. I would say that neither team has any excuses. They both got to get back into the race, and they need a great performance. And San Francisco special teams have been god-awful. Maybe they win the game because of playing good special teams for a change. There's a lot of different ways to win these games when you're man down in a lot of different spots, and that's a product of good coaching. So we'll see. McCarthy, at one time, was the offensive coordinator in San Francisco when Alex Smith was there. He knows that, he knows that facility, that organization really well. The 49ers fans will all be out there looking to see if they can turn this thing around. But to think that a Super Bowl team that was within a field goal of winning a Super Bowl just 8 months ago could end up being 3-5 in the first half of the season, that would qualify as a Super Bowl hangover.
Baldy, who do you like in tonight's Thursday night matchup? Vikings travel out west to take on the Rams. The Rams desperately need this one. They're at 2-4. Vikings are 5-1. And the most surprising element of the Vikings, that it has to be Sam Darnold. 12 touchdowns, just 5 picks so far. He's leading that offense pretty efficiently. Who do you like tonight?
I like Minnesota. They had a chance last week against Detroit. But defensively, they're still very, very good. They're very talented. They got a great coordinator in Brian Flores. So I think that Minnesota, it's a travel game. It's a short week. It's always tough for that team that's got to go. I think the Rams are going to be a good second-half team. They do need to get Puka Nacua back and Cooper Kupp and some of these guys to help their offense. And I think the young defensive line of the Rams, they're getting better, but they're still young. I feel like just like last year, they had a great second-half push. Kyron Williams is the real deal. But I think Minnesota is just more talented right now, and I think they bounce back tonight.
All right, some interesting games before we let you go. Tua looks like he's going to be back for Miami against Arizona. Get your thoughts on that. And then I want to get your thoughts on the Atlanta-Tampa game, because we just talked about the injuries with San Francisco. Man, Tampa's got some big ones too, and Tampa's already lost to Atlanta. So this game's in Tampa. But your thoughts on Tua playing, and can Tampa pull off a win against Atlanta without their top 2 receivers?
Well, I hope Tua's all right. I hope he doesn't take another hit. I hope he can get through the season healthy, just for his own sake. Mm-hmm. But they've been awful with every quarterback they've used, Huntley, all the guys they've used. I mean, Tyreek Hill is invisible right now. He can't get the ball. Right. And he's the number 1 playmaker. And so now everybody's just sitting on the run game. The run game was the best in the league last year. They're at the very bottom of the charts right now. He'll make a difference because he'll get the ball to the wide receivers. He's going to get blitzed, though. Like, that's exactly what Todd Bowles does. Like, he's going to come after him. So we'll see if he can beat the blitz. That's a big part. But this game with Tampa tonight, look, Jalen McMillan's a rookie. They have guys. Trey Palmer's a young player. They have guys. They're not Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Those 2 guys have 11 touchdown catches this year. They've been the number 1 and number 2 leading receiver on that team since Godwin got there out of Penn State. So it's going to change. But they have been running the ball really well. Defensively, they're still very good, and they got some young receivers that have to step up right now. So I think it's going to be a really good game. Tampa, they fall down 2-0 to the Atlanta Falcons in that division. They'll be 2 games down, and there'll be another game down because of the tiebreaker. Yep. That would really put them behind the 8. And they've won that division 3 years in a row. I think Tampa finds a way to win this game tonight.
Oh, no, they don't play tonight. That's Sunday.
I'm sorry, Sunday.
Yeah.
All good.
Rams Vikings.
Yeah, Rams Vikings. Yeah.
All right, Baldy, safe travels to D.C., man. We'll talk to you again next week, okay?
See you, bro.
Yep. All right, guys.